We will take a moment to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
States of America,
and to the republic which it stands, one nation,
A nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's a disparity that you would think.
Thank you. We also want to pray that everyone is safe, all those of our employees and loved ones. We wish them a speedy recovery. Our prayers are extended to everyone and that everyone stays safe. This virus isn't going away. And we just need to practice social distance, wear a mask, and be as careful as possible because we don't know where it's coming from and we don't know where it's at, who you're around. I just know we need to be very careful. Cindy, did anyone sign up for open forum?
No, ma'am. No one has signed up.
Okay, so we'll move on to the consent agenda, approval of minutes. Items 5 through 10. Does anyone have any questions regarding the consent agenda?
No, ma'am, I have no questions.
no questions.
Thank you. Mr. Carrasco?
No, ma'am, no questions.
Mr. Trujillo? I don't think Mr. Trujillo does. He's on mute. With no one having any questions, I so move to approve the agenda, the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion. This is Rod Chavez.
Been seconded by Mr. Chavez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Carrasco, can I ask you to continue to preside the meeting? I just got notified there's been an accident and I just need to give guidance real quick. If you'll please do me a favor and proceed with the agenda for me.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Give me 1 second. I think we're moving on to the general manager's report. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Grijalva, if you may.
All right, here we go. Let me get this thing started. Oops. Okay, do you guys see the screen? What does it show?
Lower Valley.
A general manager's report, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
It sure does. Yeah.
So we're on track here. Okay, so here we go. Today we're going to talk about the various projects that we have in the engineering queue. It's F.E. Jackson, Cuadrilla, Rosa Azul, Mesa del Norte, Judy and Sudan Drives, and then 2 subdivisions that have recently come up. Okay, was the first one F.E. Jackson? Yes, it is. F.E. Jackson, it's a cul-de-sac off of Socorro Road somewhere near Zebu Street, before you or after de la Rosa Azul. And we're putting a sewer system through there. I think it's 5 customers or 6 customers. The project will probably start either immediately after or after we do the Pioneer Street sewer project. Once we're done with Judy Lane and Sudan Drive. Well, your package plant is ready. All we're waiting for is for somebody to come down from Boston to train us. And I don't think anybody wants to come to El Paso at this time, so we're waiting for them to schedule. Hopefully sometime in December, they'll come by and get us trained on how to use the equipment, and we'll start it up. Everything's ready to go.
All right, you ready for dinner?
Rosa Azul, we've got substantial completion in both 1 and 2, and now phase 3. And we're working on getting the crossing over to be able to build the lift station. I think we're still waiting with for Socorro, the city of Socorro, to continue on with the lift station build. Also, Rosa Azul, we've got some good news. Michael Flores attended a meeting with the NAD Bank last Thursday, and they approved the $500,000 that they had initially offered us to help us defray the costs of the yard line connections. We just have to go through some, provide some documentation to them. I won't believe it till we see the check or some sort of a mechanism that allows us to reconcile the expenditures we've already had, but it looks like it's moving in a positive direction. Mesa del Norte, the irrigation season has ended. The company that the construction company is remobilizing, and the first order of business is to bore under the canal, but it's also going to take some dewatering to be able to get some of that work done. These are the new projects. One of them is Sunset Valley Unit 2. This is, you know where the fire station is on Bowman Road and North Loop. They just did phase 1, which is the front part next to the fire station. Now they're doing phase 2, which is the back part of that subdivision. It didn't show the. Oh my goodness, the one here in Clint that the Garcias are putting together. It's the development is across where they recently built all of those big houses. They're going to start that project now on the other side of FM 1110. What's going to help us there is that they're going to cross the water line over so that we can continue to provide water line to the residents that didn't have it on Fenter Road. This project is progressing nicely. We're done with Sudan Drive. We're finished. We just finished up all of the connections to the residents. Now what we have to do is go and finish Judy Lane so that the city of Socorro can pave both of those streets. Like I said, from there, we're going to either Pioneer Street or to F.E. Jackson, depending on which one's closest to being ready. Following me is going to be Saul Trejo, who's a consultant engineer that's doing the water modeling for us, and he's going to tell us what that project is. With regard to human resources, we had 2 new hires. The number of employees, we stand at 120. We have had a person that's notified us that he is going to retire within the next 2 weeks. And if you look at the blue area to the right, we have 17 cases of COVID since the crisis began to date. The most recent surge occurred in solid waste and with a particular family, several members of a family that work here at the district. We have had 3 hospitalized people, 2 of them pretty serious. They're all out of the hospital now. So it's just a matter of them recuperating and then coming back to work. The job openings that we have currently. I think we're interviewing for mechanic, pipe layers, and warehouse inventory coordinator right now. What's interesting about this chart is most of the employees' relations issues are gone. Most of the issues that we're dealing with now are COVID related. So nothing like an emergency to keep people from filing grievances. This is our human resources safety manager's report. One of the latest projects that our safety officer has engaged in is in looking at the records that Samsara produces while the GPS is following our trucks. So he's following through with hard stops, with rolling through stop signs, with any violations that Samsara is telling them that these people are doing, and then sending the report to the particular manager so that they can do a disciplinary action on that employee. Customer service, just to let you know that these are a few charts, so what they actually do. Everything from new installations to cashiering to meter reading to reinstatements of meters to answering phone calls basically, and loans, water rights easements, and tampering. This is what the collections look like for the month. The number of customers that is at 19,000 now, with 17,000 garbage collections. We are starting to see a trend toward less people coming in through the drive-up window and more people using our phone calls and web services. These are the work orders that come in that our meter readers have to deal with. If you look at the bottom, that's a lot of work orders for 1 month. And we've had 2 meter readers out with COVID-related issues this month. Our new installations processed 26 transactions. The development transactions have gone down, but we don't expect that to take any length of time. Usually during this time of year, things start to slow down with regard to new installations. They haven't really slowed down yet. They continue to move. Our water rights techs, what we're starting to do now, we're going to put in GPS the actual amount of ditches that they clean and where they are, so that when calls come in with complaints, we can tell when the ditch was last cleaned and when we expect it to be done again. With regard to water rights, you'll see the chart there on the right. It says these are the water right reassignments that we're currently processing and the water rights that are still outstanding. Right now we're on somewhat of a hold because Mr. Reyes doesn't like processing water rights until the taxes for those properties has been paid. So we will resume in January the actual process. Doesn't mean we can't get the signatures and process started now. We just have to wait to submit to the Water Improvement District until after January 31st. These are our tampering collections. Basically, what we're concentrating on now is outstanding delinquent loans. So we're the first line of defense before we send this to our collection agency. We make an effort ourselves, and we are quite successful in acquiring some of the funds from the delinquent customers. With regard to solid waste, this is what it looks like. Solid waste had a shortage of personnel for a little while, so we had to have them work either extended hours or over the weekend to be able to catch up. We had a solid waste community cleanup in Socorro during the early part of October. It was very successful. We cleaned up quite a bit of that area inside the city of Socorro. Records Management Department, what they've scanned throughout the year to date through November. We're only halfway through the month of November, so that's why the figures are a little bit low. Field operations, this is the time of the year where we have a lot of line breaks. So while they're trying to manage the Stan and Judy Lane project, at the same time, they're handling the big water burst emergencies, water line burst emergencies. And they also assist risk management with the sewer line and lift station emergencies. This is basically what we've been seeing with regard to our regulatory enforcement department. This particular manhole is at the corner of Los Tules and Camino de la Rosa. At that particular corner, there was a culvert that was replaced by the Water Improvement District. Our manhole was already in somewhat of a weakened state at the bottom, and I guess they are moving their heavy equipment through that area. Totally destroyed our manhole at the bottom, and now all of this dirt, we fill it up with dirt, and it goes right in through the sewer system, and it gets pumped by our lift station on the other side. So between this one and there was another one on Camino de la Rosa, there was a blockage due to sanitary wipes. We ended up with a flooding incident, which is the picture in the middle. And that flooding incident did cause issues within the house. There was about 4 inches of sewer water inside the house. This is the fireworks stand that's outside the area. The house is behind there somewhere. So we submitted a TML claim on their behalf for fixing their residence. This is the pump. The lift station went out, like I said, because of all of the issues that have been occurring that affect our lift stations. One of the issues that the lift station had, it was fixed several years ago, but the actual pipes that went from the wet well to the sewer line weren't replaced, and they sprung a leak and have been leaking for a while. And so now we had to disable the lift station. We're bypassing it with this pump so that we can do an emergency fix on the lift station and get it back and running again. We've seen an inordinate amount of, right here, you'll see the sewage that we actually pulled out of Camino de la Rosa over here to the right. That's clogging up our system. Most of that is wipes. It's just the tons of sanitary wipes that don't biodegrade that are causing blockages as they build up in these manholes. This is a pretty big manhole. I don't know if it's a 24 or a 36 inch, but it was completely blocked by that kind of towels and clothes and so on and so forth. And it's causing problems in our lift stations. Our pumps are constantly getting disabled, and we're starting to have to replace pumps or refurbish pumps because of the issues in our lift stations. Mr. Trujillo, you're probably familiar with that manhole. It's the one that sticks up in the arroyo and is about 5 feet high. We fixed it by putting a cement ring around it to make sure that it doesn't get hit or beat up by the elements there. So aside from the emergencies, this is the other stuff that as far as preventive maintenance and the work that the regulatory enforcement people do. One is compliance, to make sure that we've got clean water. We flush our water. And we also have to make sure that our manholes are flowing properly. So we also flush our manholes as well for our sewer systems. Lift station 7, which is where we're doing the septic dumping right here outside of Clint, is generating a significant amount of income. This is the monthly income that they generated for this month. Cross Connection is also generating some income. Right here at the very bottom, you see what they've generated for the month of October. Well, from September through November.
Good boy.
The pilot itself, it should be in here. I don't see it. Maybe it's on the next page. The pilot itself is right here at the bottom left. The fee for the month of November for the pilot, the septic dumping that we're doing over there is $20,000. So we're doing very well with regard to the 2 times a day that we're pumping the pilot. The tanker is in, the tank truck is in. We've got plates, it's ready to go. We've got temporary plates, it's ready to go. We just need a couple of hoses so that we can start using it to pump the pilot lift, the pilot sewage. Again, our SCADA people are very busy. They get calls all the time because of the issues with either pumps at lift stations or blockages that make the pumps operate at high amperage in those lift stations. Our fats, oils, and grease program, they're the guys that register and monitor and inspect the restaurants in the area. They're also quite busy and generated that income for the month.
Baby, come here.
Fleet maintenance, this is what it looks like for them. They were also affected by one of the surges of COVID that we had. 2 of the mechanics were out. And so we had to outsource some of the mechanic work to an on-call mechanic. And it worked very well. The guy was efficiently able to work through a lot of what our mechanics were doing before they got sick. Information technology, our IT people, this is what they've been doing for the month. And I'll just go through some of what they find. Our firewall report tells you exactly where these viruses try to come in. Most of them are through our Microsoft software, but they get caught and then disabled. Some of them are through our communications software, and some of them are through our apps like the Adobe apps that we use. This is the history of usage on our systems. It's pretty consistent. Usually looks like Fridays is the best day that customers log in to pay their bills. That's basically what it's saying. Most everybody comes in to look at the website for paying their bills. But what I'm happy to say is we put a press report out, a press release out on the sanitary wipes, and 3 of the network news stations actually put it out in their news. And I think there's 41 downloads of that particular alert on the website, from the website. So that's a positive sign that people are probably paying attention, and hopefully it will lessen throwing wipes into our sewer systems. This is just our email usage, and it's basically during the week, Saturday and Sundays is where it goes down. These are the vehicles, the Samsara report on the vehicles. The mileage is usually done by our meter readers and our solid waste drivers. That's the average number of hours that they drive. They just don't get off the trucks, basically. That's the number of gallons of diesel that they used, and we're getting 4.1 miles per gallon on those trucks. Usually it's the solid waste trucks that are causing that to be so low. The last thing I wanted to show you is we turned on the antenna that looks at our Neptune meters. These are meters that we have purchased throughout the years. And the light blue color means that the antenna is capturing that information daily. And it's actually at the Fordham tank, and it's getting reception from meters that are 8 miles away, which is the one down toward the bottom here. So it's working very well, and so it looks like whatever contract we go with, either Camstrup or Neptune or both, it's going to work very well using our tanks and towers. This is just showing how compliant we are with regard to our IT infrastructure. At the very bottom in the middle, you see 97%. That's that we've got 97.8% compliance making sure that no viruses, no issues are occurring on our systems. And that's it for me. Let me see if I can get back here. Okay, we're back. I think Mr. Trejo is next. If you could start your presentation, we're ready to go.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Let me go ahead and share my screen. You should be able to see my screen. And let's see. Right now, you should be able to see the presentation. Mr. Grijalva, do you see it?
No. So click on share screen and then click on the presentation you want us to see.
Let's see.
I think you gotta confirm by hitting share one more time. So.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
There we go. Yeah, we see your screen.
Perfect. All right. Okay, well, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Saul Trejo. I am the project manager for the Lower Valley Water Modeling Project. And we've been working with Ed and Danielle, and they had asked us to give pretty much a summary of what happened and during the project. What we're going to be talking about is what was the project scope, how did we calibrate the model and the results of the calibration, how did we address the issues that were part of the contract, of this specific contract, some of the benefits of the modeling to end, and some conclusions and probably some next steps. So this is a project area that we focused on. As you can see, is Loop 375, Horizon Boulevard, I-10, and North Loop. So anything inside the yellow area is where we focused. And the scope was, there was some low pressure concerns in this area. There was some new development coming in this area close to old Welco tanks, and also a proposed new tank location in this area. So those are the three concepts that we're trying to evaluate with the water modeling. So what we did with the calibration is we definitely asked Danielle and Ed. There was a lot of information shared as far as engineering drawings, customer service information, demands, field operations, testing, GIS. So everything that we could, we compiled it, and we pretty much put it into the water modeling. What we want to see, as you can see here, is the orange line is the one that is the field test. So if we go to a hydrant in this area, and this address, 953 Etihart or 59 Bundala, you can see the results of the field testing is the orange line. And the results of the modeling is the gray line behind it. So we don't want to see the gray line. That means that the water modeling, it's perfectly. In some areas, it is a little bit off. I mean, it's almost impossible to get it perfectly, but we get to a comfortable scenario that we can say, yes, this is a good model, and we can definitely start working with this. Now, just a reminder, the water modeling, if we put good information in, we get good results, we get good projections. I was listening right now to the presentation. You're going with the AMI, water meters with Neptune. That was an excellent tool for calibration on the water modeling for future. So now we have the model calibrated. Now we can address the three issues that were originally brought up as a concern. So the good thing about the model is that you can see what's going on in the system at the same time throughout the system. So I'm going to show you real quick. This is the tank, East Lake tank. This is where the low pressure concern is. And this is what the velocity of the water on that pipe is going on. So when the low pressure is happening, we have a very high velocity on the water pipe, and we have a low level on the tank. So now it's our turn to make some assumptions and conclusions. So when the water valve opens to fill the tank, it is very, very possible that the surge of water to fill that tank creates a temporary low pressure, because it's not a permanent low pressure. It's just like 40 or an hour timing on the low pressure. And so the water line is rushing to fill the tank. So the solution is, which was already implemented by the administration, is they installed what they call the modulating valve. So a modulating valve is it's a valve that opens or closes at different speeds instead of just opening or closing all of a sudden. So that was installed and implemented. We just need to follow up and make sure that solved the problem. So that issue got resolved right there. Now, going on to the water storage capacity, the reasoning for the water storage, this is a proposed tank site, is one, to alleviate the Mitchell tanks. As you know, the Mitchell tanks pretty much takes over pretty much 85 to 90% of the district as far as storage. So with a 1 million gallon storage tank in this area, you could service easily up to 10,000 connections. So how many connections do we have on our system that we modeled? So far on the area that you see the blue lines, we have an estimated 750 connections, and it is less than half developed. So we can easily estimate about 3,500 in this area, which means that a service tank or a storage tank in this area could service definitely more than the area that we are currently modeling. So it could go beyond this service area. Now, moving on to the new development, we have this East Lake Village master plan that we modeled. And now having confidence in the model, you can connect, draw lines, run the model, and see where it is better to connect it. So we had an existing 12-inch water main, an existing 16-inch water main, and the proposed 16-inch water main coming in from the proposed tank. So the best option to connect is either the 16-inch on the mesa drain or the proposed 16-inch coming from the tank. We connected the development to the existing 12-inch, and it created some very low pressures in the area. So with confidence, you can go back to the developer and say, look, the 12-inch that is right there, that it seems that is right there to connect, don't connect to that one. We need to extend a water main from the 16-inch. The system has enough capacity, so it's not gonna through the 16-inch, so it's not gonna produce any negative effects. The modeling benefits and some observations that we have. So in general, we put together a list of items that you could easily do with the modeling benefits. So you can create every type of graphical representation of your system. So this is the 2019 August usage heat map that was, we got provided the data through the customer service, and we just put it in a graphical representation. You can easily see that the water demand in this area on North Loop is the highest, on this corner on Horizon, and even in this area. Now you can focus your water model on, do I have the right pipe type? Do I have the right size? What if I upgrade, let's say, this line right here coming up on the freeway? What happens? So those are some of the systems. So those are some of the items that you can do with the water modeling. To conclude, and some proposed next steps. First of all is, once you finish the model, you want to apply the recommendations from the model. And once you apply those recommendations, you normally generate a master plan of the area. So, okay, the model is asking me to do this. I'm gonna apply those operational recommendations. What do I need to do to address new development coming into the area? And then you expand the modeling service area, and it's just a circle. So you evaluate, do the model, apply the modeling recommendations, generate a master plan, accept the new development, redo the model, and then apply model recommendations. So it's a circle that you're more than capable of doing at this point. We had the opportunity to work with Daniel on teaching him the software. So that's something that stays with the Lower Valley Water District. So that is a very short and brief presentation on the process. Are there any questions or comments that we can address?
Okay, so you definitely recommend that we run it throughout the district, right?
Excuse me?
You recommend that we run the modeling throughout the district in that same 4-step plan?
Yeah, so typically the modeling, you want to do a master plan every 5 to 10 years. You have a good model right now. You have the AMI coming up on the water meters. You have SCADA information that can help the model be calibrated. So you have all the tools to make a good model, a perfect model. So we definitely recommend expand it to the district.
Okay.
Does anyone have any other questions?
No questions.
I just had one question, Ms. Mila, if I may.
Yes.
David Carrasco. So on the that model, I think I've had it figured out. The one that had all the drawing of it. Can you go back a couple of slides? One more time. That one. So this is everything south of I-10, right?
This is I-10 over here on the, yeah.
Everything south, right? Okay.
North Loop. Uh-huh.
Okay. There's a lot of work right now going up there, right on the access road, coming down right here on the top corner.
Yeah.
The top right hand corner. What is that going to be? Do you know?
This one? This area?
No, go other side. Right there. Do you know what that is going to be?
We don't know. We didn't get any development for this specific property.
Okay. There's a lot of earthwork going on right now. A lot of earthwork going on.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering. Now, all this area, that's all that includes our model, right? All that is Lower Valley Water District?
Yes. Everything is Lower Valley Water District.
Okay. And what about other side of the I-10? That's not us, right?
Yes.
North of I-10.
It is Lower Valley Water District. It is not included in the current model area, but it is Lower Valley Water District.
So all that East Lake Village is Lower Valley Water? All of it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
On the other side, we do have a small development. What's it called? Horizon Hills. There's an apartment complex being built there, and there's still a phase 2 for Horizon Hills that we envision happening within the next year or so on the north side.
But then the Amazon building is ours or not ours?
No, that's too far out. We're pretty much right along the frontage road.
We're not that lucky.
Okay.
That area you were asking about, David, isn't it, Jerry, that's Ballard's land or something?
Well, Ballard is on the other side. Ballard is building, you know where the self-storage is, David?
Yes.
Okay, that whole area belongs to David Ballard.
Okay. Yeah. And right there, Jerry, we're saying that one. And I think on the other side of it, so I was wondering on the other side of, I guess, what is it called now? So, New Waco, old New Waco or whatever like that.
Yeah.
On the other side of it.
Some of it is part of that East Lake Village, and some of it, the other part, usually that's on the El Paso water side, belongs to the Ivies. And so the Ivies.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so the district is more over here on this side. Over here, you have TxDOT offices, which is the county. So it's more over here on this side, close to the Sparks and the village.
Almost across from the East Lake tank, almost directly. That's where ours pretty much ends.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it. No more questions.
Okay, does anybody else have any further questions?
None.
No questions for me. Thank you.
So, well, it was nice seeing you on virtual, and thank you.
Nice seeing everybody. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I hope everybody's staying safe in this time.
We're trying.
Yeah, definitely. Wishing you the best for everybody.
Okay, so we'll stop sharing.
Okay, perfect.
A minute there, I thought you were back on with us. Okay, we'll move on to item 12, discussion and action to issue certificate of election to elected directors, obtain statements of officer and elected directors, and conduct oath of office for elected directors. Stella?
No, good evening.
Oh, you, huh?
I'm here. Priscilla prepared all these items, and I want to obviously recognize her, thank her for doing it. And she worked with Cindy and Ms. Ontiveros to get this stuff set up. We're going to walk through this. It's a little unusual because obviously we're doing this all virtually. Normally we would do this together in the boardroom, and it's obviously a whole lot easier because we're there with one another and we can hand the forms and talk about what we're doing. So I'm going to go a little bit slower. The first thing that I want to remind the board, anybody who's listening, that we did have a notice of election that was issued for positions 4 and 5, and those positions were going to be covered in the November 3rd general election. We did not need to hold that election in the Lower Valley Water District because the two directors, Mr. Estrada, David Estrada, and David Carrasco, were the only people that applied for those positions. They're obviously our current directors. Mr. Estrada holds position 4 and Mr. Carrasco holds position 5. In August, at the August meeting, we canceled the election that was scheduled for November the 3rd, and the board approved an order and a certificate of the order canceling that election and declaring Mr. Estrada the elected director for position 4 and Mr. Carrasco the elected director for position 5. Congratulations to both of you. You didn't have an opponent, so that's the best kind of election. With that, they continue in their positions, but there are some things that the election laws require us to complete, and those cannot be completed until after the election date of November the 3rd. And the first thing that we needed to do, and I'm hoping that these have been signed, there's a statement of officer form and a certificate of election that need to be issued before an elected official can take the oath of office, which we will do in just a moment. And I need to confirm from Mr. Estrada that he has signed and returned to the district the statement of officer. Have you done that, Mr. Estrada?
Yes, I have.
Thank you. And I need to confirm from Mr. Carrasco, that you also have signed and returned to the district the statement of officer.
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. The next thing that can be done tonight, either virtually or it can be issued at a later date by Ms. Vigil, if you haven't already done it, is the certificate of election. It's the form, a one-page form on Lower Valley Water District stationery declaring and certifying that Mr. Estrada was elected to position 4 and then Mr. Carrasco was elected to position 5. And Ms. Vigil, I don't know if you have had the opportunity to sign those or not. Can you tell us whether you have?
I believe I have. Correct, Cindy? You have them? Yes.
They're both here.
Okay, thank you. If we have those both, we just need to have them in hand and on file there at the district. Okay, so those two forms confirm the fact that Mr. Estrada and Mr. Carrasco have taken the necessary preliminary steps to affirm that they're accepting their positions as elected directors. Again, Mr. Estrada to position 4, and Mr. Carrasco to position 5. And the next thing that we need to do, and I believe Ms. Ontiveros is going to help us with that because she is a certified and licensed notary. We have to have a public official swear each of them in. And I'm going to ask Ms. Ontiveros to swear them in individually, one at a time. We're doing this virtually, but we can see them. It is permissible to have this done virtually with the swearing in, and it's recorded. And then we make a note in the minutes of the meeting that the oath of office was taken. The actual forms for the oath of office can be signed by the elected officials at a later date and by Ms. Ontiveros certifying that they signed them at a later date. And those will be on file locally with the district office with Cindy. So if Sabrina, if you're ready, if you'll go ahead and administer the oath first to Mr. Estrada.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Estrada. If you could please raise your right hand and repeat after me. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas.
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas.
I, David Estrada.
I, David Estrada.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute the duties of the office.
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
of the Board of the Lower Valley Water District
of the Board of the Lower Valley Water District
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Estrada. Now, Ms. Ontiveros, if you will administer the oath to Mr. Carrasco.
Mr. Carrasco, if you could please raise your right hand and repeat after me. In the name and by the authority of the State of Texas,
In the name and by the authority of the State of Texas,
I, David Carrasco,
I, David Carrasco,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
of the Board of Directors of the Lower Valley Water District
of the Board of Directors of the Lower Valley Water District
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
and the laws of the United States and this state, so help me God.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Estrada.
Hey, congratulations to you.
Thank you, Mr. Carrasco, Mr. Estrada. Okay, that will confirm the items or the required items for agenda item number 12. And now, obviously, Mr. Estrada and Mr. Carrasco continue as directors. The next agenda item is item number 13. It's the discussion and possible action to elect the board officers. This is for the position of president, vice president, and secretary. That's up to the board's discretion on how you want to handle that. You can take nominations from any one of the board members to nominate an individual to serve as the president of the board. You can continue with the current slate of officers or elect new officers. That's completely at your discretion.
I guess, depending how the rest of the board feels, I'd like to hear from everyone. I mean, I'm all for continuing, but I'm also willing to turn the baton over to whomever.
Madam President, this is Ron Chavez. Just had a question. Do we, in terms of nominating somebody to a position, do we do it as a motion, or just say that I would nominate a certain person?
You just make a nomination, whichever person you want to nominate. We should take them one at a time. President's position comes first. So if somebody wants to make a nomination, it would just be a simple, I nominate person, whoever, to serve as the president. Then we would need a second and a vote on that position.
Okay, so I'll nominate Ms. Vahid to be the president of the board.
That's the motion.
And I'll second it. David
Okay.
Carrasco.
Oh, really? Thank you. So I so nominate Mr. Carrasco to continue as vice president.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Estrada.
Steve, do we need to vote on each one, or can we just do the whole thing and then vote for one time?
We should vote on them one at a time, just so that it's clear since we're recording it. So right now we have 2 nominations. Let's take the first one. We've got a nomination and a second for Ms. V. Hill to continue as president. If there are no other nominations, we will just vote on that.
Okay. This is for president, for Ms. V, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, so we're not hearing any other nominations, so I would ask Ms. Veal, you are the president, so if you will call for the vote, and we'll take each of the directors one at a time, voting yes or no.
Okay, so I guess I'll call for the vote for, do I mention every one of the directors, Mr. Trujillo?
Yes, take them one at a time.
Mr. Trujillo, do you agree?
Yes.
Mr. Estrada?
Yes.
Mr. Carrasco,
Yes.
and Mr. Chavez.
Yes.
Okay, it's been voted unanimously as myself to remain as president. I so accept and I thank you. I guess this is like a form of a motion. All those in favor say aye, correct?
Aye.
Yeah, we've already got the affirmative votes of
Yeah.
everybody, so
So that's okay? Okay.
that's been confirmed. The next one was a nomination from Ms. Vigil and a second by Mr. Estrada to have Mr. Carrasco serve as the vice president. If there are no other nominations on that position, I don't hear any, then we would take up an individual vote on that position as well.
Okay. We will vote for Vice President to remain in that position as well. Mr. Trujillo,
Yes.
Mr. Estrada,
Yes.
Mr. Chavez,
Yes.
and Mr. Carrasco needs to vote?
Yes.
No, Miss. Okay. Yes, I accept.
So it's unanimously voted.
Well, no, wait a minute. Wait. Hold on, Ms. Hill. What about you? Or do you accept?
Well, let me think about that for us.
Okay.
Yes, I do. It unanimously voted that Mr. Carrasco will remain as vice president. We'll move on to any nominations for secretary treasurer. And so I'd like to nominate that we remain with Mr. Henry Trujillo as secretary treasurer. And I'd like to take, unless there's any other nominations out there.
We need a second for that as well.
I'll second that one.
Thank you, Mr.
Estrada.
Estrada.
Thank
So
you.
the vote will start with Mr. Carrasco,
Yes.
Mr. Chavez,
Yes.
Mr. Estrada,
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo,
Yes.
and I so agree. So it is unanimously voted that Mr. Trujillo remains as secretary treasurer. And I believe that everyone is in favor of that as well.
Okay, that concludes the board items for items 12 and 13, I'm sorry. The next item is 14. I'll just go ahead and read it since I'm talking. It's discussion and possible action to move the regular board meeting of December 24th, 2020 to December 17th, 2020. That's agenda item 14. I think Ms. Ontiveros is going to handle that.
Right. So December 24th is the fourth Thursday of the month, but because that is a holiday for Lower Valley Water District, we are closed half day that day, as well as closed the following day, December 25th. So we are requesting to move the regular board meeting to Thursday, December 17th, 2020.
I do have an issue with that unless the board wants to continue and understand that I will not be able to attend on the 17th unless you want to have it on Wednesday, December 16th. Or any other day prior to. I'm sure Mr. Carrasco can handle the meeting unless you all agree for the 16th.
Yeah,
I would go for the 16th.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yes, ma'am.
And you know,
Yes.
even though it's virtual, we have a corporate meeting scheduled for that day and I do need to be there. I mean, virtually also. So if you all agree on the 16th, I'd like to make a motion that we move that meeting to the 16th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We technically need a second for that.
Oh,
I'll second that motion.
I got nominated as president again and I'm forgetting how to do things. I'm sorry. So
I'll second.
Mr. Carrasco, second that. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to working with each one of you again. Thank you. Item 15, consider and take action to open a new construction bank account at West Star Bank. Mr. Hernandez.
Good evening, board members. As you know, we closed the bond issuance on May 2020, a 6 million bond issuance. What we're recommending to the board is that to open a new account with Western Bank. The process that we have now is we transfer from the escrow account to our operating account. And first we issue a check from the operating, and then we transfer from the escrow. What we're recommending to the board is to open an account so that we can transfer from the escrow that we have with Logic to the new construction account, and we can cut check from the construction account. The idea that we have is that it will reduce reconciliation issues. At this moment, we have, for example, an account that has $2 million. And the reason for that is that sometimes in the past, we were not transferring the money to the operating account. Again, the motion is the administration recommends the board of directors approve opening a new construction account with Western Bank to issue checks related with the bond issuance.
The investment committee met on this item, and Mr. Hernandez gave an outstanding presentation, him and Mr. Grijalva. Mr. Trujillo and I were most impressed with the way the money is being secured and handled, and it is in the best interest of the district to agree on this. If no one has any questions, Mr. Estrada, you have any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Chavez?
No questions.
Mr. Carrasco?
No questions.
With that in mind, I so move, being that Mr. Trujillo and I were in the meeting and agreed. And again, to thank Mr. Hernandez for an outstanding presentation, I so move to approve this item.
I'll second it. Can I?
It's been seconded, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next time, thank you. The next item on the agenda is item 16, discussion and possible action to approve amendment number 1 for additional RPR and CM services for the district. Mr. Long.
Good afternoon, board members. This is a contract that we currently have with CEA. I did meet with the engineering committee meeting. They're providing RPR services for a couple of projects, and we kind of put it all in one amendment. One is for the Cuadrilla wastewater plant. We added time to the contractor. We didn't add time to the construction management. So this is basically adding time for the construction management so they can finish off this project. We also awarded Cubic Waters under a separate contract to do that lift station at the Cuadrilla wastewater treatment plant. And we're also now assigning some RPR services for that rehab. So CEA gave us a cost of $75,604 for the Cuadrilla. And then we also asked them to give us a cost to do the construction management for Mesa del Norte Phase 2, which should start here shortly. And that cost came in at $64,996. So if you total the two, it's $140,600. This is adding like about 4 months of additional time to their existing contract. And this is both RPR services and office work, engineering work. Administration is recommending approving of amendment number 1 as presented to the board members. If y'all have any questions.
Does anyone have any questions regarding this item? I'm sure you met with the engineering committee, correct?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
And I'm sure that the committee is all in favor of this item, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so if no one has any questions, Mr. Carrasco or Mr. Chavez?
No questions.
No questions.
Well, so do I hear a motion to approve this item from any member of the committee?
I so move.
It's been moved,
I second it.
seconded by Mr. Estrada. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Long. Item 17, consider and take action to award request for proposal roof replacement main building and module RFP number 20-1102-01. Rosa?
Good evening, board president and board members. This is Gabby Diaz filling in for Ms. Rivera. The administration published requests for proposals for roof replacements of the main building and the modules. RFP number 20-1102-01 in the El Paso Times on October 12th and October 19th, 2020. This was posted within the district's website. The awarded vendor will provide roof replacement for the main building and the modules. The following vendors received solicitation invites. The Roof and Metal Company, Vistacon 2 LLC, Anthony Sosa Roofing and Construction, Rio Grande Roofing, DNS Maintenance Repair. The RFP was due and opened on Monday, November 2nd, 2020 at 3 p.m. The district was in receipt of 2 bids, the Roof and Metal Company and Vistacon 2 LLC. The Roof and Metal Company submitted a bid in the amount of $84,500, and Vistacon 2 LLC submitted a bid in the amount of $141,510. The bid tabulation is also included with your reports. The administration recommendation is that we're seeking board approval to award the request for proposal for the roof replacement of the main building and the modules to the low bid, the Roof and Metal Company. Do you have any questions for me?
Does anyone have any questions regarding this item?
I have a question, this is David Estrada. Why was Vistacon's material so high? Is it the type of material, or I know Daniel told us, but I'm trying to remember what it was. The type of roofing, I mean, not Daniel, Mr. Estrada. The type of roofing material or something was different.
Raul, can you take that question, please?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, board members. We elected when we met with the building committee to go with a TPO roofing system. In that quote that we asked them to submit a quote regarding the TPO roofing system. We specified a GAF TPO system to be installed. Why Vistacon's materials was more expensive than the Roof and Metal Company, I don't know. But now I think Gabby could help me answer that question. I don't know where the difference on the price was mostly higher. I believe that was one of the main costs. The material itself. Yes, sir. It was on the materials.
The Roof and Metal Company had total amount of $28,145, and Vistacon was $82,420.
Mr. Estrada, does it have anything to do with the gauge of the metal?
It's not a metal. It's
We called up for 60 mil. It was specified there how thick we needed that TPO to be. We went with a TPO that was pretty uniform to everybody at the package. So why the price difference, I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
okay. I was just wondering because you had told us that you were requesting that type of roofing. I couldn't remember what the explanation was.
Yes, sir. I guess once we would send out to rebid again, that they came a little higher on that. I guess they were not, or the materials went up according to the last time that I heard from them. But the Roof and Metal Company stuck pretty close to what they had originally had said.
Okay.
So no one has any further questions. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the replacement of the roof.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded by Mr. Estrada, Mr. Trujillo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 18, and thank you, Gabby. You did a good job. Discussion and possible action to approve to auction the commission of vehicles that no longer in use that exceed value of cost and or high maintenance costs.
The The administration is seeking board authorization to auction the following decommissioned vehicles. The vehicles have been through the vehicle assessment inspection report and have failed to meet Lower Valley Water District standards. The units are 107, 220, 225, 227, 302, 402, and 310. The vehicles scheduled for auction were assigned to various departments. The units have been in service for over 10 years and have exceeded their depreciation value. Documentation is included detailing the make, model, and vehicle identification number. The administration recommendation is seeking board approval to auction decommissioned vehicles that are no longer in use and that exceed value of cost and or high maintenance.
I would think that we had a committee that met on this, no?
No, we didn't meet.
Finance or, no?
No, ma'am.
Okay, anyone have any
No.
questions regarding this item?
No, I don't have any. I mean, I see a lot. I mean, what I do see, I see a lot of new vehicles out. So I guess if they're not needed, might as well put them out. But I see quite a few vehicles out on the road now that we have new
Yes, sir.
trucks, new, which is good. So I'm okay with it.
Okay, if no one has any questions, Mr. Chavez, no?
No, ma'am. I think those vehicles, I reviewed them and they're old vehicles that do need to be auctioned off. We don't need to keep maintaining them. So I'll make the motion to, if there's no other questions, I'll make the motion to approve as presented today.
Okay, it's been moved. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 19. Discussion and possible action to review, update, or revise employee handbook. I just feel I had this item. I don't think we've revised it. I know that we've had perhaps added some new policies or deleted. I'm not certain. Sabrina provided me with some updates. I think what I've decided that we need to do is maybe wait till the first of the year and see how things are. I would like for every member to look at the manual. If you don't have a copy, request one, or Cindy, make sure they all have a copy of even any updates that have been provided in the inserts. And I think it is in the best interest of the district that we usually review the employee manual at least once a year. January 1st would be one of the best years. Okay, so let's look at that. And mainly I'm asking for this is I think there's some kind of confusion, and maybe Steve can correct me on this. I think there's some confusion on the time that we come in and the time we leave. And I think the confusion comes where employees probably think that you have to come in 10 minutes before, which if you do, that's considered overtime. Okay. And I think there's the confusion on when you leave, or let's say you're 5 minutes late. Normally companies give employees 5 minutes, but if you come in 7 minutes or 8 minutes, and that's already considered overtime. But not because you came in 10 minutes till 8 means you can leave 10 minutes till 5. You know, I think this district has always said the operation hours are 8 to 5. And I really believe that employees have to be at work at 8 because the customer is waiting for us to answer the phone at 8 o'clock, not 8:05, not 8:10, not 8:15. Everyone in their department needs to be at work by 8. And so normally it takes at least 5 minutes for an employee to set up, get your coffee, do what you have to do. And so I feel that as managers, the responsibility is on you. And I think you need to be fair with everyone, not because one department is allowed to come in a little later than the other is going to happen. I think it reflects a great deal on, oh, I thought somebody was talking. I was like, whoa. I think it reflects a great deal on you as a manager, on how your department is set up and how you allow people to show up to work, but we have a commitment to our customers. And the commitment to our customers is that we answer the phone at 8 o'clock, not 8:05 or 8:07. And so if we're going to allow employees to be late, I can see an employee being late at 8:05, but every day, 3 times a week, I don't think so. Personally, I don't believe so. Okay. And if an employee shows up at 7:50, well, that employee has no right to leave at 5:50. Their hours are 8 to 5. And so unless you have like the drivers that come in at an earlier route. So I'm going to ask the board to leave it to each manager. I think you need to get your staff in order. I think we've all gone through a great deal with this pandemic, and we're trying to be as flexible as possible. I feel that the time may come that if things get worse, people will probably start working from home again. I don't know. That's Mr. Grijalva's responsibility. But I would really like for you all to really take a good look at your employees. I think you need to talk to your employees, and I think your employees need to be at work by 8 o'clock ready to work. Now, I'm not referring to managers because I know managers stay late. I know managers are doing their own thing. I understand that. But your staff needs to be there for you at 8 o'clock. Okay, just give it some thought. I hope the rest of the board agrees. I don't know if anyone has anything to say or add to that. I don't know how you feel, Mr. Trujillo, Mr. Estrada, Mr. Chavez, or Mr. Carrasco.
I'm all for it, let me tell you. 8 to 5.
Madam President, this is Rod.
Yes.
No, I absolutely agree. We have to be on time. We owe that to our customers because we can't keep them waiting. And I know through this pandemic, we've had to switch to paying our bills on the phone. So, and I know I've had some challenges when I try to get through and to try to pay my bill that I've been on hold for quite a while. And so I'm trying to time it when the best time is. And I know a lot of folks have jobs. So absolutely, we got to be there at 8 o'clock to start off the day and then finish up at 5 p.m.
Well said.
Mr. Carrasco? He doesn't want to say anything because he's late every day. I don't know if he's there, is he?
Yeah, I'm here. What I'm saying is, I think it's just management 101 that each manager's got to take care of their people, and
Right.
you know that's basic stuff. I mean, that's basic stuff.
That's right. Okay, we'll move on. Enough of that subject. Everybody review the employee manual in case there's anything different that we need to change. And that's probably going to happen on a virtual workshop. I don't know, but I guess get a copy, look at it, and we'll take it from there. Okay, with all that said, that's just for discussion. The next item on the agenda is item 20, executive session. The board of directors will retire in executive session pursuant to sections 551.071 and 551.072 to include 551.074. Discussion regarding pending personnel matters, discussion regarding closing town of Clint project settlement cost number 2012-DCV07270 regarding Bain Construction. It is 7:45. The board will retire in executive session. Mr. Grijalva, did you send us that? Yeah, you did. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.
Bye. So where do I leave?
You did it at the bottom?
Where? Aquí? Aquí.
Anywhere in the bottom.
Leave.
I remember like I just started falling behind if we're wet and like you're in the danger zone. I didn't think I'd be laboring for 22 hours to push for 3 hours to C-section. I was scared. They didn't get bad. All right. I know how this is. Did you have a cute little 3?
All right, we're back.
It was very, very smart. Very.
Hey, Jerry.
Yes, sir.
I need to try to get that tractor this week. What do you think? Coming up, the one coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll call you Monday.
Now, if I get mesquite thorns in the tires, you're gonna fix them, okay?
Get what? Get what?
Mesquite thorns.
No, you shouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Did you get them last time? Did you get them last time?
By there. I passed through there the other day.
Did you? No, but you know what? I had a guy come in and shred it all up.
Oh, okay, good.
So I just want to disc it.
Yeah, we're good.
I'm check. I got to do it. There's a few things else I got to do, but know that mesquite stuff should be there.
Okay, I'll be around.
Okay, I'll call you.
How's it going with the pecans, Jerry?
Not the best crop in the world, but it's going to be early, so maybe the before Christmas price will help it.
But it doesn't look. We haven't had a freeze, so
yeah. But usually the trees look like they have more than what they're showing right now. That's fine. We'll take what we can get.
Most of the trees look like that, though, huh?
Yeah, they talk to each other.
Yeah.
They communicate somehow, and they say, this is the year we're not going to produce, and everybody in the valley has the same problem.
Yeah, because I've seen some other ones, and they look like, yeah, you're right. They don't look as big either.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I don't know how Mother Nature does it, but she does it.
Right, exactly.
Okay, the board's back in session. There was no action taken in executive session. It's 8:12 p.m. The next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action regarding closing Town of Flint project settlement cost number 2012-DCV07270 regarding Bain Construction. I so move to approve of the Town of Flint's project regarding Bain Construction as discussed in closed session.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Trujillo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda, before we adjourn, I just want to say that we will hope everyone stays safe, is careful. If you don't feel well, please call in and stay home. And please remember that we have a responsibility ourselves to practice social distance, be extremely careful with the gatherings we have. Thanksgiving is just around the corner. I want to wish everyone a very safe and peaceful Thanksgiving. I know it's going to be really hard. I know I'm going to miss my family, but I know we all practice this. One day soon we'll be able to be around each other. And we do this so that no one is missing when we are able to meet again. So you all have a really happy, safe Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
I move to adjourn. It's 8:14 p.m.
I second the motion.
Seconded by Mr. Carrasco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. God bless everyone. Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, you all.
Your birthdays.
Dolores' birthday.
Yeah.